6.7 million. According to the Diabetes Atlas, this is the number of people that lost their lives to diabetes or diabetes-related illnesses in 2021 globally. This accounts to about one death every 5 seconds. Furthermore, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention claims that about 96 million people over the age of 18 are living with pre-diabetes. But despite these threatening stats, when diagnosed early and given proper care, diabetes can be controlled and properly treated. So, how can you detect it early enough? Well, in this video, we have gathered some of the most common and not so common early symptoms to watch out for that may be pointing at diabetes and pre-diabetes. You will be shocked by our number one symptom, so be sure to stick around till the end to find out what it is. Before we jump into the list of symptoms, it is worth noting that pre-diabetes is not necessarily detectable by symptoms. Medical experts have said that a lot of people never discover pre-diabetes until it has progressed into full-blown diabetes. So if you may have diabetic tendencies and start noticing some early stages of the symptoms we'll be listing in this video, then be sure to check that your sugar levels are not escalating beyond normal. Now that we have all that out of the way, let us get into our lists of early diabetes symptoms you should never overlook. Number 10 is oddly frequent urinating and dehydration. This is one of the most common early symptoms of diabetes that has been recorded across several patients, and this is quite understandable. Diabetes is an illness that results in excessive blood sugar in the bloodstream when the body becomes insulin resistant or unable to create insulin. So, to get rid of all that sugar, the kidney has to work overtime and let it all out with your urine. So if you find yourself making more urinary visits than usual, you may want to take out some time to check your blood sugar levels. One more implication of this symptom is that along with pushing out the excess sugar in your urine, the body may also push out other essential elements along with it. This could lead to other nutritional complications. Furthermore, as the body is losing more liquid than it should, you will find yourself feeling overly dehydrated as well. As you would expect, this is bound to result in drinking more water to quench the extreme level of thirst, which then leads to urinating even more. This becomes a vicious cycle. Before you panic every time you start urinating more, one great litmus test for this symptom is to try and reduce liquid intake before bed. If you still find yourself having to wake up at night to urinate, despite avoiding drinking before bed, then you should get checked as soon as possible. Up next on the list at number 9 is something related to the last, and that is insatiable hunger. If you ever find yourself eating so much and yet never feeling like you have eaten enough, this is a red flag that needs immediate checking. Whenever diabetes starts showing up, the body finds it difficult and sometimes impossible to properly convert the glucose from your meals into energy for the cells. With that being the case, the body is not getting the proper ratio of energy that it requires. Now, the body will consistently be in search of that energy and will keep you feeling hungry no matter how much food you consume. It is possible for your body to be going through some changes and you begin to eat more, but it is extremely important to keep an eye out for when it starts becoming abnormal and nothing ever fills you. Number 8 is consistent fatigue. This symptom is sort of another prong of the insatiable hunger that you feel as a result of not getting the required energy rations. As we just mentioned earlier, diabetes does not allow the body to get enough or any energy from the food that it processes, and this is bound to have a ripple effect on the rest of the body. Plus, all that urinating and dehydration could also contribute to this severe feeling of exhaustion. This is why it is important to be watchful for when any of the symptoms mentioned so far start to become prominent, because each one could easily evolve into something else even worse. At number 7, we have another prong of the body's inability to properly process food, and that is unplanned weight loss. If your body is unable to get fuel from all the food that you are consuming, it is bound to resort to other means of getting that energy. After a while, it will eventually start burning the fat and muscles in your body to make up for the energy shortage. Now, if you are actively changing your diet and working out to lose weight, then of course, this may not be the symptom to put you on the diabetes watch list. However, if you have yet to make any significant change to your diet in a bid to shed some kilos or pounds, but notice a consistent decline, you should definitely get checked, especially if you find any of the other symptoms we have mentioned so far. If any of these have shocked you, then watch out for number 1. Number 6 is a decline in vision or hearing clarity. There are a ton of conditions that could lead to poor vision or hearing in a person. For some, it may come with age, while for others it may just be a genetic condition. Whatever the case may be, it is important to get checked the moment any of these vital parts start to fail. It is worth noting that it may not manifest fully at the first instance. It may just be an occasionally blurry vision. Having excess sugar in the blood tends to destroy some vessels in the eyes. Without proper attention, blindness caused by diabetes could get as bad as complete blindness. On the other hand, the heavy presence of sugar in the bloodstream could also destroy small blood vessels in the inner ear. Over time, this takes a toll on how the inner ear nerve can send the right signals to the brain. Some studies have shown that extremely untreated levels could also get to the point of complete loss of hearing. Moving on to number 5, we've got constant infections. Another result of having all that sugar free roaming in the bloodstream is giving yeast and bacteria all the boost that they need. A little bit of warmth and a little bit of moisture, and you could find yourself constantly battling yeast infections and other urinary tract infections. This is one early sign that is specific to people who may have type 2 diabetes, so keep an eye out for when you start treating too many of these. Number 4 is one you may have heard before, and it is slow healing. One of the major results of diabetes is nerve and blood vessel damage, and this usually ripples into a bunch of other complications, one of which is improper blood circulation. Without proper blood circulation, a lot of the much needed nutrients and oxygen needed to heal cuts and wounds are unable to get there. This in turn leads to a prolonged lifespan of wounds. The worst reality is that since the high blood sugar level also leaves patients prone to infections, the open wounds not getting healed also leave an extremely high risk of infection. For this reason, experts recommend keeping a close watch on whatever wounds you get, especially if you have experienced any of the aforementioned symptoms. The last thing you want is an extra complication from an infected wound. The number 3 symptom on our list is unusual skin changes or conditions. Certain skin conditions appearing out of the blue are usually one of the earliest signs for a lot of patients and a signal to see a doctor as soon as possible. The most common would be to find dark patches of skin appearing on the folds and creases of the skin. Areas to watch include the back of the neck, around the shoulders, and the groin. For some people, they are more visible in areas like the hands, knuckles, feet, elbows, and knees. The skin condition is medically referred to as acanthosis nigricans. It is usually caused as a result of increased insulin levels. If the case is type 2 diabetes, then your body is actively resisting insulin, hence causing the creation of even more insulin. These higher insulin levels could cause dark skin patches. If you believe that you may be diabetes prone and start noticing such changes on your skin, immediate action is required, as this is a sign of insulin resistance. It could easily progress into worse cases of diabetes without the proper treatment, so it is important to get checked. In number 2, we have another nerve-related tag team of painful limbs and itching skin. If you consistently feel itching in your hands, feet, and other parts of your skin, you may be suffering symptoms of nerve fibers damaged by increased sugar levels in the body. As we mentioned earlier, blood vessel damage caused by high sugar levels could hamper blood circulation around the body. With blood circulation to the limbs malfunctioning, this could lead to dry skin, hence itching and even peeling. threatening. This nerve damage could also lead to pains in the legs and feet, or a feeling of numbness or burning sensation in the limbs. All these symptoms may manifest differently in different patients, so if you begin to notice such abnormalities, first get checked before any other thing. As with all of the others we have discussed, early detection is the key to getting your symptoms under control. Now, at number 1 is an entry you probably did not see coming, as it isn't very common. We have got bad breath. Bad breath? Yes, bad breath. While it is not the most popular symptom of diabetes, bad breath could be a result of a condition called diabetic ketoacidosis. Since the body is unable to properly utilize its insulin to break down and extract nutrients from your food to fuel the body may start breaking down fat cells for energy. Whenever this happens, an acid called ketones is produced in the process, and that is not good news. While excess ketones also leave the bloodstream with urine like the excess sugar, it could also create a form of bad smelling breath that either smells fruity or like nail polish. Ketoacidosis is a massive red blinker that you may be developing a form of diabetes. It requires immediate medical attention to ensure that things don't get out of hand. One of the best ways to detect diabetes before it sets in is to watch first for prediabetes. Consistently keeping an eye on your sugar levels and watching for when it becomes to blow out of proportion. And keeping a healthy diet is the best way to detect when any of these symptoms may be threatening. There's a video with a piece of new clinical evidence just about that waiting for you at the end. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to the channel and check out other health elevating videos. Here you can find 2 videos I'm sure you will love. We'll catch you in the next video. See you there.